We arrived in Florence by bus, leaving Rome behind after a few unforgettable days. From there, we jumped on a tram straight into the city center. As the tram rolled through Florence, we got our first real glimpse of the city. Rows of pastel-colored buildings, locals going about their day, and a mix of history and everyday life that makes Florence feel alive the moment you arrive. And the atmosphere instantly felt different. Slower, colorful, more intimate, and almost storybook-like. After a short walk, we finally reach our Airbnb. It was the perfect little spot to call home for the next couple of days. And with our bags down, we were ready to dive right into Florence. The streets of Florence unfolded around us. Narrow lanes framed by worm-hued buildings, windows lined with vibrant shutters, and the afternoon sun casting soft patterns on the pavement. Each corner seemed to whisper centuries of history. And every turn offered a glimpse of life blending seamlessly with art. We wandered through this living museum, letting the city guide us until we arrived at Ristorante Finisterrae, right beside the majestic Basilica di Santa Croce, a perfect pause to savor the flavors of Florence. I ordered the calzone and I was immediately amazed by how gigantic it was. The sheer size was almost comical, a delicious spectacle in itself, and it made me appreciate Florence's generous, hearty approach to food. For dessert, we shared the rum baba, a soft sponge-like pastry soaked in syrup and a touch of rum. Sweet and rich, it was the perfect way to end our meal, and at the same time our first taste of Florentine cuisine. The morning light cast a soft glow over the city, highlighting the terracotta rooftops and Renaissance architecture that makes Florence so iconic. Walking through the streets, it's impossible not to feel the weight of history. This city was the cradle of the Renaissance, home to geniuses like Michelangelo, Leonardo da Vinci and Botticelli. Every street corner seems to tell a story, and as we approached the place we were about to get breakfast at, we couldn't help but imagine the countless Florentines who had walked these same paths over the centuries. We finally arrived at Cafeteria Il David, and it was time for a proper Italian breakfast, the classic combo of cappuccino and pastries. Simple, but so good. And of course I had to try it the right way, by dipping my croissant straight into the cappuccino. Some might call it messy, but trust me, this is the authentic way to do it. Right next door was our next stop, and yes, it was again Atlantico Vinaio. But this wasn't just any location, this was the original shop, the birthplace of the sandwiches that made the place world famous. There's something about being at the spot where it all began that makes the experience feel different. Like, you're not just eating, you're taking part in a little piece of Florence's food culture. And honestly, how could we say no to another gigantic sandwich? Our next stop was the Cattedrale di Santa Maria del Fiore, for short, the Duomo. Even though we couldn't go inside, just standing before it was enough to leave us in awe. The sheer scale of the dome, the intricate marble facade in shades of green, pink and white, is the kind of beauty that pictures never truly capture. Admiring it from the outside, we felt the weight of centuries of history and craftsmanship towering above us. Next, we stepped into Piazza della Signoria, Florence's grand outdoor art gallery. The square itself is a snapshot of history, flanked by the fortress-like Palazzo Vecchio and filled with sculptures that feel more alive than stone. Everywhere you look, there's something to catch your eye. As the day drew to a close, we made our way up to Piazzale Michelangelo, just in time for the sunset. From here, Florence stretched out before us in all its glory. The sky slowly shifted through shades of gold, pink and deep orange, casting a dreamlike glow over the entire city. Surrounded by people all sharing the same moment in awe, it felt like the time had slowed down, just for a little while. Watching the sunset over Florence was one of the most cinematic experiences I've ever had, like the perfect final scene to a film you'll never want to end. We kicked off our third day in Florence the best way possible. You guessed it again, with gelato. I decided to try what for me is quite an unusual flavor, caramel popcorn. Forget coffee, forget breakfast, in Italy a scoop of gelato in the morning feels like the only right choice. This day turned out to be a little unusual when it comes to food. After starting with gelato, our next stop was something completely different, lampredotto. It's a traditional Florentine street food made from the, bear with me, fourth stomach of the cow, slow cooked in broth and usually served in a sandwich.
This is the most courageous things I did. I did not do it yet, but I will do now.
How is it?
Delicious. If you would not know what is in it, then it would be better for the mind. But it's delicious. It tastes like meat, like a soft meat.
It doesn't taste like
Tripe.
like the tribe from the tribe soup.
Yes. Incredible.
But it's good.
After the lampredotto, our day took a bit of a random turn. We wandered into Piazza della Repubblica, and right there in the middle of it, there was a merry-go-round. And of course, we couldn't resist. Sometimes travel is about cathedrals and museums, and sometimes it's about hopping on a carousel in the middle of Florence just because it's there. From there, we shifted gears and headed to something a little more historic, Dante Alighieri's house. Florence is the birthplace of the great poet, and visiting his home offered a glimpse into the world of the man who wrote the Divina Commedia. The museum itself is small but rich with history. Room by room, it traces Dante's life from his youth in Florence to his political exile and the creation of the Divine Comedy. Inside the museum, the exhibits bring to life both his works and the medieval Florence that inspired them. The next stop on our journey was the Ponte Vecchio, Florence's most famous bridge. Lined with gold and jewelry shops and bustling with people, it's one of the few bridges in the world where the buildings themselves seem to float above the water. Standing there, with the Arno River flowing beneath and the city stretching out around us, it felt like stepping right into a Renaissance painting. After crossing the bridge, we kept wandering through the streets and stumbled upon something really unique, a wine window, or bucchetta del vino. These little stone openings were first built during the Renaissance when noble families produced their own wine and sold it directly to locals. Today, they've become a charming reminder of Florence's past. You can still walk up, knock, and receive a glass of wine straight from the wall. Our final stop before dinner brought us to one of Florence's most enchanting landmarks, an actual living museum, the Officina Parfumo Farmaceutica di Santa Maria Novella. Founded in 1221 by Dominican friars, this isn't just a shop. It's considered the world's oldest operating pharmacy, born out of the monks' early experiments with herbal remedies and distillations, and even used during plague outbreaks. Over the centuries, their botanical craft evolved into public perfumery. In fact, in 1533, when Caterina de' Medici married the future king of France, she commissioned a fragrance that would remind her of Florence. Thus, Acqua della Regina was born. To this day, its bright citrus blend remains a signature reminder of Renaissance elegance. It's time for our last dinner in Florence, and we ended the day at Osteria Pepo, a cozy trattoria with a warm and lively atmosphere. And here we had to try the most famous dish in Florence, the bistecca alla Fiorentina. A steak traditionally grilled over high heat and served red, just as it's been for centuries. It wasn't just a meal, it was an experience, one that perfectly wrapped up our day with a true taste of Florence. Looking back at these past days in Florence, it feels almost unreal. The Duomo rising above the city, the sculptures in Piazza della Signoria, and the golden sunset at Piazzale Michelangelo, all of it felt like stepping into a living painting. Even the small, unexpected moments, the carousel in Piazza della Repubblica, a morning gelato, or dipping a croissant into cappuccino added their own charm. Keys returned, backpack ready, we left Florence behind. We let the streets fade into the rhythm of the rails. The countryside rolled past, towns and fields flashing by, each view a small hint of adventures waiting just ahead.